and neighbor and fellow guitar practitioner. I'm so happy that you're here today. I'm particularly happy that I'm here today. I'm particularly happy that we might be here together today. And I just wanted to start with that this morning. Because it is important, it is a good thing to be thankful and practice some gratitude, as you know. All right, so here we go. I just found out that I sound, I don't like to watch myself on video, I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you, it's a challenge. So I changed these strings yesterday, so you should see a beautiful, follow-up video for this. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, M. Fish, Michael. And I'll tell you what, these are just such a pleasure to play. These Curt Mangan strings are just so fun to play, and they feel so good. And they're into the guitar's tunable once again. And I did go through the whole process of retuning, restringing the guitar, stretching out the strings, cutting off how I wind the strings down the tuning post, sandwich the string on the tuning post, a little bit of care and maintenance along the way. And I did get close-up shots like you recommended, Kevin. And these are Curt Mangan's, these are Curt's Bluegrass model. So let me just see if I have the package here still. I did talk to my friend at Martin yesterday, and she said that we could put 13s on it, but it comes with this guitar ships with 12s. And so it's not, she said it's probably okay to put 13s on it, but if you do, keep an eye on two things. If the one thing in particular, if the bridge plate starts to lift at all, then obviously you want to put the 12s back on it. But other than that, this is basically just a little daily driver cannon. So you can see the strings on the tuning posts are like super clean, and then everything's sort of wound down the post. The trick is to try to get, especially as we get to the high E string, to wind that down the post as much as possible without overdoing it, to try to increase the downward pressure. This is not like a Floyd Rose locking tremolo system. We want to have an additional amount of pressure, downward pressure, to hold the string sort of in place. I could have used one more winding on the low E string, one or two more, maybe one more wind down, so I didn't leave quite enough slack. But it is, Lex is here, good morning. These are the Curt Mangan, Lex, maybe you were here for this, but it was, these are the 12 to 56, and it's backwards, I know. But it's his Bluegrass set, so it's a little lighter on the end and a little thicker on the bottom end. So you get that sort of 56 on the bottom, 12 to 56. So 12, 16, 24, 36, 46, 56. And I'll tell you what, these strings feel unbelievable. They're like fusion matched, and Mr. Mangan definitely knows what he's up to, definitely knows the business. And you can go, if you ever find yourself in Cortez, Colorado, you could actually go and visit Mr. Mangan and say hello. I'm sure he'd be, he's just thrilled to death with the area in which he lives, loves it, and I'm sure you guys would enjoy some steak dinners or something. But great guy to visit. And they feel just like butter. These strings are, and they just sound really great. They feel really great, And I pre-stretched. I walked you through all of the pre-stretch sequencing too. Not really tuned in, but worked on a couple new licks late last night, and worked on some really slow sort of. Maybe we can do that today a little bit, and just start really kind of absorbing what the metronome does for us at slower tempos, you know. Some really great songs out there. But let's go ahead and start. We've got the metronome working for us already, guys. We know what's going on. We're here for a warm-up. Yesterday got a little bit out of control, didn't it? You know, I'm not really the apologetic kind of person, but it did get a little out of control. So let's go ahead and start with, and it was fun. It was fun. We need to do that once in a while. Just cut loose once in a good while. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Sometimes moderation needs to go right out the window too, you know what I mean? Just full on excess. And we had some recommendations for in excess yesterday. You know, I haven't heard or played that band in a long time. I can feel like the neck of the guitar is starting to just come back to where it needs to be with the 12s, you know what I mean? It's going to take a few days for the guitar to kind of get back to, you know, the appropriate amount of relief on the neck. I think I calculated, I had my calipers, my, what do you call those things, Michael, where you have the calipers that measure the string, my calipers, oh my gosh. So anyway, micrometer. I have my micrometer out and measured the previous set was 11. So I did lighten it up a little bit, and Turbo Christ. So you just give guitar advice and lessons open form. It is kind of one of those things. It's a little less like an open form and more like a morning ritual for guitar growth, but glad to have you here. So if you have a guitar, you have questions about the guitar, if this could be a good forum, a good place for you to, you know, contribute, you know, ask away if you'd like, you know. But the basic situation is here. I'm Jason. I'll be your host if you decide to stick around, Turbo Christ. And what a cool YouTube handle. What a great handle. At Turbo Christ. That's pretty cool. And I just imagined this something that I would be doing anyway. It's something that I would just be doing. And I thought maybe what I'll do is, because I've really never seen anybody. I always hear people say, hey, you've got to practice, you've got to warm up, and well, yeah, great, but why? You know, why? I'm one of those why guys, or what's that guys, you know. So we'll go ahead and continue breathing, and we'll set our intention for the practice, the warm up right now. We'll go ahead and set an intention for this morning's ritual for guitar growth. And you know, it could be something that you set that's, you know, it's specific to this morning ritual. Maybe you have a lot on your mind, a lot on your plate, and you just know that you want to get through this, right? it could be something life related, but it's usually got to be, you know, I would recommend it's something that's specifically for you and specifically sort of for your guitar and for your growth. Let's go ahead and add one of these things right here. Let's go ahead and add one of these some guns and see what that does. So fingers 2 and 4, 1 E and a 2. I play guitar. I'm curious to see what flavor and style you are comprised. Oh, hey, that's a really great. That's a good observation, and it's reasonable. If you want, stick around. I really appreciate you being here with us. You know, I really do. Undone fun. What are we doing here? So these scales that you're going through, these are, and you can all, if you're new here, you can say hello to the other people in the live chat if you'd like. Kevin Haas is our channel monitor. You can see he's got a blue wrench right here, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful fella to have here. He keeps the chat light and lively, super social, just a wonderful, wonderful moderator, keeping everything light and lively. Robbie Smith, good morning. I'm going through, stick around here, and I'm using, we're starting with fingers 2 and 3, you know, we're starting with 2 finger permutations. We've already done the other ones. We're here and here, we're gonna get here, rock and roll forever, and then we're going to 3 finger permutations, and then you know, this other ones I hate doing because of whatever reason. And then we're going to get to 4 fingers again, and we're going to stretch the 4th finger, stretch the 1st finger. We'll be warmed up almost in full by 8 o'clock in another 15 minutes if I stick on track. So fingers 2 and 3, what are we doing? Oh, fingers 1 and 4 on 7 and 12. And 1 E and a 2, you know what to do. Here we go. So anyway, I was saying, like, you know, we all talk about, hey, it's a great idea to practice the guitar. It's a great idea to warm up with the guitar. But what are we really doing? You know, whoever really practices or warms up with a guitar? Usually, you know, I want to learn, you know, like Reb Beach's guitar solo from 17 or something. You know what I mean? I always have a goal. I always pick up the guitar and just get ripping, you know? Good morning, Robbie. Thank you for saying hello, all. Undone Fun. Great to have you here. What is a permutation? All right, permutation is so instead of using you know, fingers 1 and 4 always on fret 7 and 12. So instead of 1 and 4 all the time, it might be a good idea. And again, I'm just using the metronome at 60 beats per minute. And I typically run the show at 4 attacks per beat, so it's 1, 2, 2, go, taka, 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 taka. Or it could be that you want to take more time on your own, so you're doing 1, 2, 3. You want to be a little more observant of every single note and every breath you take, no pun intended, but so what we want to do is sometimes we can just kind of use permutations or variations of what it is we've been doing, you know. And this is literally where the rubber meets the road. We do all of the hard work first in the morning as we say, good morning, guitar, and then we are ready and basically become guitar players for the remainder of the day, just because we practice. I'm not going to use the word practice, because we warm up in the morning first thing with the guitar. Or if your warm up is in the evening, that's great. It gets us keyed up and ready to do some more research that night. So all right, so if I miss any comments, I'll definitely come back and take breaks and stuff and look at these things. Jungle Land, the boss. If you're playing a gig and haven't warmed up at all, is there like a 2 or 3 minute holy grail song or passage that's like absolute best warm up for the life and death emergencies? Good idea. That's a great question. That's a wonderful question. I basically just try to wake up my muscle memory reflexes. There it is. There it is. And then Claire Phoenix, good morning. I play my scales and warm-ups more than I actually learn songs. Amen. Amen. Good. But I'm also 15 years classically trained to each their own. Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're dropping some notes here in the live chat. That's great. How the heck do you stretch from 7 to 12? I know, it takes a little bit of doing. So that's a good question. So I'm starting with fingers 1 and 4, and then I'm always keeping the thumb between the 2 fingers, or only 3 fingers, or only 2 fingers, right? If I'm only using 2 fingers, I try to keep that thumb sort of between the median between the 2 fingers, or the fingers being used. That way I can distribute power, and that thumb being down low on the back of the neck gives us access to a bigger stretch, and I can use the thumb as a pivot point, so I can physically, literally, like based on where the thumb is, I could theoretically fret an octave with just that thumb being a pivot point. So good tip, pro tip. So let's say that we're just showing up for the gig. We're not really warmed up. We come from a screaming crazy, it's just a crazy day. You know how it goes, right? You want to have that moment to green up, but you missed it. Showed up for the gig late, you know, because of life just grabs us by the bullhorns once in a while. And let me go ahead and use these warm-ups while I talk our way through it. But anyway, you know, you show up for the gig late, you know, we don't have time to warm up, but we need it just to get the fingers moving. And what I usually do is I start with, if I don't have any time at all, if I have a little bit of time, I'll use this warm-up right here. I'll use, you know, either 2, 3, and 4, or 1 and 2 and 3. But if I have like 5 minutes, I'll use fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, which we're going to get to in a moment. But I'll really just kind of drill it down to fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do permutations of that. But if I don't have any time at all, what I like to do is I like to start with songs that are super easy, super chill. And again, it's, you know, am I playing on a stage touring with a programmatic performance? You know, do we have lighting? Do we have things that sort of need to roll a certain way? Or am I sort of just doing a solo, you know, a dinner set, or, you know, something like that? I'll probably start with a song that I'm super comfortable with, and just take it easy and learn, just remind myself to breathe into the situation, because all of those nerves are indicative of, you know, it's not that I'm not good enough, but the nerves are excitement. We're excited to just play all of the stuff all at once, maybe, and the butterflies in the stomach, the sweaty palms, all of that stuff can be controlled through just simple, steady breath work, right? Stale Fish is here. Good morning, everybody. It's time to take it to the bridge. Wagon Wheel's a great warm-up song, yeah. I slide my index finger, my hand with the slicer, work for hours before the gig. It was miserable trying to play at night. Oh! Right, and you've got different temperatures too, right? You're really working on adjusting. So part of what we're doing here in the morning, yeah, thank you very much for doing that. Thunderstruck, I see you, Michael. Are you still here? I'll play Thunderstruck, yeah, absolutely. Where do you start out, and I don't like for a morning ritual. I don't like for I start beat it. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Great stuff. Just let's just get this low E string back in tune here. The guitar neck's adjusting. I just threw some 12s on back on this last night. And is there anybody out there? Oh yeah. Love that Pink Floyd stuff, Kev. I'm a big fan, big fan. Oops, disregard last. Let's see. What did I miss? And then it was, I think it was all hammer-ons and pull-offs, right? And then there's this. And I was shaking at the knees. And then, you know, just really great. And then just really good stuff. And then he goes up that half step. You can see there's like this really like, I'm choking out all of the strings around the open B string because I don't want to hit any of the other strings by mistake and just hear that mistake, you know what I mean? So you learn to provide yourself with little insurance policies, you know. Let's go ahead and just kind of get right back to it. So we're starting with fingers 1 and 2 and 3. If you're following along, welcome back to the morning ritual for guitar growth, and we're starting with fingers 1 and 2 and 3. And we have a live chat that's banging this morning. I'm kind of curious to hear what your favorite song to sing along to might be. What I'm asking or what I meant was where do I start out to do for a morning warm-up. I was texting. Oh yeah, it does that to me all the time too, man. And I'm just starting with that 60. The first thing I do, and it's so annoying for so many people, is just the sound of the metronome. It just like ticks, talks away at my psychosis. You know what I mean? It's just like one of those. It's just one of those things that will either make or it will eat you right up, or it will help you along more than we might deserve. I err on the side of the metronomic approach is definitely going to help me, because if I'm going to be in my bedroom practicing songs, it doesn't matter. My time does not matter. I can play literally whatever I want, whenever I want. But as soon as I start playing with other people, my time matters, right? So the time, the metronome, the metronomic approach is super important. And I always start each and every day out with 60 beats per minute because I'm familiar with what a second feels like. What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it play like? And then I just subdivide it into, let's say I can't keep up with 4 attacks per beat. Then I'll just subdivide it into, let's do fingers 1 and 3 and 4 on 9, 11, and 12. And then if everything's too fast for me, of course I can use just 1 and 2 and T and 4 and 1 and 2 and T. First thing, I try to remember that I'm going to need to count so that I can keep up at faster tempo. So I'll just use 1 and 2 and T and fo and. I won't say the whole word because I will never have time to say the whole word at tempo. More Robbie, hit that like button for Mr. K. Yeah, hit that like button. Thank you, Robbie. If you have a keyboard or piano, it's full function. You can play it for. Of course, amazing. Warm-up guitar, even maker. Some progress on the guitar, even though you're playing directly piano. Yeah. Paul Gilbert, there you go. Thank you for saying that name. So there are 2 types of guitar players, rhythmic and non-rhythmic. Yeah, that's right. You could have 3 attacks per beat, which is what I'm doing here. You could have 4 attacks per beat, or you could have 5 attacks per beat, or 6 attacks per beat, 7 attacks per beat, 8 attacks per beat. But I like to start the morning with 4. I like to work my way up to 4 because it's a pretty good, comfortable place for most of us to aspire to. Low stress, allows us to focus on our breathing work. We need to focus on breath work, don't we? If we can focus on our breath work, the rest of everything else comes so easily, you know, so easily, and it's so easily overlooked, you know what I mean? Today I've got my old friend Curt has a string company, string winding company. He's like literally a string manufacturer, sort of like Ernie Ball before Ernie Ball, right? So he was Ernie Ball for a while, but he has his own string winding facility in Colorado. If you're talking to the natives, Colorado. And these are, I just put these bluegrass wind on 12 to 56, and they just feel so good. They sound so good. I'm just loving it, and brings a new, like a breath of fresh life to the guitar. So let's go ahead and start back with fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're at the top of the hour, so I'm running a little behind. I usually like to keep this, keep this sort of like, I like to be sort of completing the 1, 2, 3, 4s by now. So just so you know, play flamenco, La Lucha, search it up. Love flamenco. Thank you for being here and sharing that with me. Flamenco, La Lucha, search it up. I will absolutely do that. Can you arpeggio Wagon Wheel? And I'm just curious how it sounds when you play it compared to how I do it. So are you thinking you want to take the chords of Wagon Wheel and you want to play arpeggiations? That's a great practice session that we could turn into a warm-up session if you like. Are the machines used to make strings and wind the complicated and they are, so he's a sort of like a, one of those boutique-y sort of, he's a small company, and he's small enough to be responsive to like wind strings for the Fender custom shop, you know what I mean? They have very specific and demanding requirements. So he'll do a lot of that kind of stuff, and if you're a musician, you could probably even get him to print your face on his, string packages, but he's just a super dude, and he's got a bunch of super employees that are just sort of they're all clearly doing things because it's the right thing to do in their lives, So we're doing the old 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're stretching that 4th finger coming up right now. So 1, 2, 3, stretch 4, 9, 10, 11, 13, same thing, but we're just working the old angles here. We don't want to overlook anything. And again, let's go ahead and use the last 10 or 15 minutes here this morning. I'm here until 8:30, so another half hour, roughly another half hour. And why don't we use the end of this session to arpeggiate our way through Wagon Wheel. Let's do that together today. Wagon Wheel is such a great song, covered by so many wonderful artists across the world, the globe, and just a really great heavy-hitting song, you know. There's, it's kind of an extension and expansion on that bluegrass revival that happened with, like, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, you know. Remember those days? Remember how tasty that music was when it was all kind of coming back fresh and new? It's, you know, a lot of the bluegrass stuff, of course, is like playing shred on acoustic guitar. I've come to terms, like, to the realization that's why I really like playing acoustic. I really like warming up on the guitar. Of course, I'm primaried on jazz and contemporary music and specialization in performance in music university across the world, but I think, you know, I prefer to, you know, warm up with an acoustic guitar, and I do prefer dreadnoughts for some reason. I like others, you know. I like thin lines, I like, you know, OMs, triple O's. I love all of the stuff, but I just have this, some reason, I'm just like really excited about playing dreads for some reason. If I was fingerstyling more, I might want like a 314, like a Taylor 314 or something like that. I have a few Taylor guitars that I just adore, you know. I have an 810, you know, like one of their flagship dreadnoughts. For a Taylor 420, if you haven't checked out the 420, if you can get your hands on one of those, it's like one of my all-time favorite guitars. It's just a rare bird, and if you can find one of those in good condition and you can afford to, pull the trigger on it. The Taylor 420, it was like 1990, you know, 96, that kind of stuff. Just a really great, you know. And if you can find the original case that came with it, they were actually making these beautiful cases custom for the guitars at the time. So the guitar is easily worth, you know, more than what you're going to pay for it. But it's just, if you can find one, go ahead and do it. Let's see. All right, are the machines used to make strings? Yeah, so he does have a whole plant. He does use, go ahead and, you know, I would recommend just kind of learning a little bit more about Mr. Mangan and what he's got going on. He builds these beautiful pure nickel electric guitar strings, and all of the wire is American made. Everything that he does is 100% American made, right? And he does it right there in Colorado, Cortez. It's all American made products and just super, super fun to talk to, you know. So if you call, you might get to, you know, kind of reach the man himself. If you do, call him, tell him Uncle Jason says hi and says he's in love. Tell him I'm in love with what he sent me for strings. If you do happen to call and talk to him. So let's go ahead and take a look at this diagonal pattern. This is another thing I like to do. Taylor 724 CE is my dream guitar. Good choice. Thanks for sharing thumb placement. I always think I'm not positioning correctly. I'm familiar with that feeling, Robbie. Yeah, so we're just working through, you know, and we'll just go ahead and keep this. We'll take a look through the middle 4 strings. Let's go ahead and do that diagonal pattern. So it's still down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Although this is a great opportunity we do not want to overlook. Here's another permutation we might want to check in with this downstroke and upstroke. Just working the old sweep picking. If we get that together close, you know, in a sound manner, at a slower tempo, we can definitely have better access to it at faster and up tempos. Moving my hand a little bit, to accent, I'm accenting something that probably wouldn't look like that, just so you get an idea that there is an opportunity to, once we get to the top of the sweep, we can pull off and then initiate the upward sweep and then slide, right? We can have just a ton of fun getting those kind of techniques together. That's how we get that kind of stuff, that's how we approach that kind of arpeggiation process. I'm going to connect with the metronome, but 2, so 1 and 2 and T and 4 and 1 and 2, T and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. In the days of my youth, I was told what it means to be a man. That's right. And no matter how I tried, you ever play that tune? What a great song to sing and play at the same time. Takes a little doing, but a very rewarding song to play and sing. Yeah, all right. Just working the pentatonic system. Those hammer-ons and pull-offs are super important to just kind of get down and keep down. Let's go ahead and let me get rid of this thing right here. I'm going to take and get rid of this thingamajiggy. There we go. Hopefully that was fun, talking about our favorite song to sing and play along with. Yeah, what's your favorite song to sing and play along with? I think mine would have to be that Sun House tune, you know. John the Revelator. I'm just going to go ahead and get a quick stretch in here because I haven't stretched yet today. And I see our viewers are down to pretty much our, our normal sort of, our normal peeps. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Morning Ritual for Guitar Growth. I'm Jason. I'm your host this morning. I'm here until 8:30, but stick around because there's likely some guitar stuff that you want to talk about today. I'm just doing a quick stretch, just getting my way through this morning ritual for guitar growth, and where I'm warming up. We're pretty much warmed up now. I think we're going to start covering oh, I don't know, Wagon Wheel and arpeggiate our way through Wagon Wheel, talking about just defining ways where we can, you know, turn a song that we know into something new and possibly use it. What I like to do is I like to create arrangements of songs that I know and play them so that I have a little bit of the Jason Carey guitar stamp on them. So I might, you know, do something like, you know, I don't, is Wagon Wheel in the key of G? Hey there. All right, I see a couple of new faces here. Thanks for being here. Hey Jason, can you play Hotel California 94 Eagles unplugged version? Wow. Hacky, good morning. Tiki, good morning. I appreciate that, Aslan. Chubina and shout out. Bro, play Chubina and shout out. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, here we go. Let's make it rain. So I'm thinking on the and then, you know, what would we do with a song like that, you know? And then, let's take a look. And then there's the D, and then there's the A, and then we walk up to the C, and then back to the G. Dominant 7, which is indicative of the E harmonic minor scale. I almost said mode, but it's not a mode of, the E harmonic minor isn't a mode in and of itself. It's a scale, and it has modes as we, let's say we wanted to study and be observant of mode 5 of melodic or harmonic minor. So we have this like root chord E, right? E harmonic minor has this 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6 major, 7 and 1 in it, right? And then the 5 chord, if we were to start the scale E harmonic minor scale on mode 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the octave reduced at 8BB, and then we have the root flat 3, flat 2, 3, 5, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1. So we have the basically a dominant 7 chord with a flatted 9. And then we'd have to kind of, you know, do the Ted Green thing, of course, and get back to get that, but we can hyphenate that or abbreviate that chord. If you really wanted to do something really cool, we're going to talk about Wagon Wheel and arpeggiating our way through it. One of the quick ways, Robbie, sayonara, and daylight savings time coming. Oh, right, more time to practice. Amen, brother. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at, let's say, like E minor. Let's hang out here for a second. Here's a technique that we overlook. You know, sometimes we'll just start strumming the chord. this is, you noticing that this is the cycle 4, right? And this is the way I practice scales too. You could also play this in E minor, and then B, D, strum away. We can have a lot of fun with that, but if you wanted to play bar chords, you can have let me just break this down a little bit. This is going to expand into our time with arpeggiation. So I'm doing a slow strum, right? And palm muting so that I can provide separation between strings. I'm going to try to place this root note on the click, and then this other note, the 5th, way up here on the next click. So if I wanted to put that note on the click, I could be really slow and drag my feet and get there, or I could time this sweep through the string set correctly and just get there. Or I could just kind of wait for it and do like a, a reggae or a Rastafarian sort of chop. We can just have a ton of fun with it. Let's see, what are we doing here? Give Jason a chance. Did I miss something? El Paso Double. Oh, good morning, Arslan. All right, gotcha. You've got a lot of great ideas for some songs. Rewaz, I love that YouTube handle. It's great to see you here. I'm glad. Thank you for, thanks for being here with us. And thank you for, just taking a minute to, say hello in the live chat. And I wanted to just talk about, what is it? Good old JD, no, not JD Crow, Old Crow Medicine Show, or who does this song, Mike M. Fish? Which version are you playing of Wagon Wheel? So here's an sort of an arpeggiated version of this. So are you learning or just playing? I think both, but we're basically learning. Let me just, because you asked that question. Oh, Darius Rucker. Yeah, I got you. Right. Now, wasn't he Hootie and the Blowfish? Was he that guy? New Rewaz. So this is the morning ritual for guitar growth. I'm Jason. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And so we're about ready to experience fall back. You know, we changed to daylight savings time, so it's going to be a different time. Shuffled by, so I'm going to fall back. So we need to figure out how to announce that to everybody. But it will be a different time come Monday. But I'm here every day for the entire year of 2025, and it's my morning ritual for guitar growth. So it's my warm-up. It's my morning warm-up, and usually we're doing finger exercises like we're doing warm-ups like that. And then there's a reason why I'm doing this, because I've never seen anybody, I've always seen us say, hey, you need to practice, hey, you need to warm up, but I've never seen anybody work through it, right? So I did the first session that I did this year, the live session, the last session that I did I'm going to do this year, I'm going to take those two and I'm going to say, hey, this is what it looks like when you warm up. Practice is different from warm up in my mind, my little mind, and it's going to be 260 hours, give or take. You know, so what changed from the first session to the last session? We're going to study a whole bunch of different things and why it might be valuable for us, you and me, to continue sitting with the guitar every day we can. And have it we'll become guitar practitioners that way. And, you know, I've had a privilege, an honor and a privilege of teaching thousands of students, playing with, you know, musicians that I only dreamed of being next to. I just have an opportunity now in my life to spend some time with you, with myself, with my guitar, saying, good morning, guitar, every morning. And it's just a simple thing. Nothing complicated, nothing too vain. You know, I'm not really doing this for likes. Obviously, if I was concerned about performance on my channel, I wouldn't be doing this. You know, I think this kind of thing, if I did it a different way and got a little bit more hype oriented and a little more vain, I think it could be a lot more successful and a lot more like wildly populated. But I'm really specifically focused on one thing in particular, and that is the betterment of myself, be a better man or a better person, you know, than the day before. And that's mentally, cognitively, spiritually, physically, guitaristically, family, community, world at large, and songwriting and performance and all of that stuff. It's just a really simple, basic, you know, this is where the rubber meets the road for Mr. Carey and for Jason Carey. And hopefully it's something that you can adopt and adapt for your own benefit. That's just what's going on. I hear people telling me, I've told for decades my own private students, all right, you got to practice, you got to warm up at least 5 minutes a day. Here's the warm up. You know, you do it slowly and get through it. Do this 5 minutes a day minimum, and but you want to practice. You warm up for an hour. Soak your hands in warm water. Stretch, breathe. Be spiritually and totally connected with your guitar while you do it. But then, once you're done with your warm up, then it's time to enter your practice day, your guitar practice day, and that's really what I'm after. I'm after just deepening that experience, right? So I appreciate you asking that question. Super important. Well, I certainly appreciate the that fortification, Kevin. I want to ask you something. All right, hopefully this isn't, you've been setting me up to send you like, you want me to cash an image of a check or something? I want to send you, you want you to take some pictures and stuff and you pay me in a, what's the question? No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of that stuff on the internet. I'm happy you're here, Rewaz. Ask away. All right, so here's Wagon Wheel. If I was really going to practice this song and warm up with it, I would think about, you know, what would Steve Gillette, so he's got this really animated sort of like, make sure that I hit the bass notes first and then play the rest of the chord. I'm going to focus on the top 3 strings so I have total separation between the bass note and the chord strum. And plus, playing the bass note first gives the rest of my fingers a chance, you'll see, to get to where they need to be. You know, as long as I get the bass note first, I'm in business, right? We have continuity of sound for the listener's ear, and we have less stress for our own satisfaction. Now, that changes when we start arpeggiating things, right? So if I'm going to arpeggiate it, maybe I'm, you know, forming a hybrid synthesis of, you know, a little arpeggiation down, up, down, down, up. But the down, the last down is just a strum that just kind of hangs out and lingers there and puts us in like stasis, right? So we got this. And am I playing too hard? Yeah. And then you have that opportunity to, you could palm mute so the notes die slowly, or you could choke so the notes die quickly. You could also start the whole song in with a D note that's sort of pedal tone. Thank you, Kevin, very much. I'm just going to finish this thought and I'm jumping with you because I don't want to keep you guys over. Give us your lickiest lick. I love that. Kit Kats. Good morning. Is the roof leaking or is that a metronome? Yeah, that's a great joke. I love that. I love it. It's like water torture, isn't it, for some of us? Yeah. Great question, man. That's funny. I'll have to remember that one. Like in the last day of my school, I have concert. I'm going to play Wish You Were Here. Nice. And Stand By Me of Oasis. I'm kind of nervous. What should I do? Well, you know what? Elvis Presley's guitar, pianist, right? I was doing a performance, and Elvis Presley's, he played with Elvis Presley, and his name was Carey. I don't know if he was a regular or what, but he's just, he was, God rest his soul. He talked to me behind stage, and I was 15 at the time, 14 or 15, and about ready to go out on a catwalk and play for a sold out crowd. It was just a small 1,000-seat venue. And I was so nervous, like he could see that I was nervous physically, and my palms were sweaty, and all I could imagine was I was going out there on the stage. It was a solo performance similar to what you were going to do. And he could see, all I could think of was my palms are sweaty, they're going to stick to the guitar. So that's why That's why I always carry around a cloth, right? I always have a cloth, and I always wipe my hands and I don't wipe them on all over my clothes because I don't want people to think I'm a slob. When in reality, I might really actually be a legitimate slob. But I want to keep my strings clean all the time. I want to do this. I want to keep my strings free of debris and free of extra oils. And then I'll have my, kind of like if I need to, wipe my fingers down. But I really like to keep the guitar neck super clean. I don't use the finger ease or any of the spray-on grease or whatever, oils or whatever. I don't do any of that stuff. And I could, I probably could. But Gary could see that I was ready to just kind of vomit. And he came up and he tapped me on the back. And I said, hey, how's it going? And he said, I know what you're going through and I understand what you feel. And I said, wow, this is a dude who's done countless musical high-level performances, and he's sort of like a mentor of mine. And I thought, and he actually played with the King, with Elvis Presley. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I should listen to what he had to say. And he said, Jason, all I'm gonna every time I feel like that, my hands he told me everything that I was going through. He said, I start thinking about the audience and what they're going to think about me and how I look and all, what am I sitting up correctly? Is my posture good? And my hands are so sweaty and they're going to stick to the piano keys. And I'm thinking, wow, you're talking my language, Gary. And he said, the one thing that I do is I do these things called cleansing breaths. And it works like a charm every time. And so I learned how to do this early on. And this was a game changer for me. This was a game changer for any professional that whether they're playing basketball, shooting like 3-point or penalty shots. If you're if you're a sniper, you're whatever it is. This was the thing that changed my life. It was the It was the cleansing breath. And so he taught me right then and there how to breathe in through my nose for 4 counts. And out through my mouth for 4 counts. And he said, do that again. And focus on your breath. And do it as many times as you need. Focus on your breath. Even come back to it during your performance, because he said, I know you, Jason, and you've practiced this song. You no longer have to think about it. You just need to free yourself up to do your best. And if you make a mistake, hey, we're human. And these performances will come and go. But the thing that changed me completely, I always remember it, is what a guy, what a guy. Be able to share something so simple that I completely overlooked it. It's just those little things. So I hope that helps you, and I'd love to hear how it goes for you, how your performance turns out, friend. I'd love to hear. I'm really excited to hear how that goes, because hope you have a good time with it. And thanks for being here. And I'll see you again tomorrow. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe, do the obligatory things. But most importantly is thank you for your seat time. And thank you for being a torch bearer, a real honest to goodness torch bearer in the world of guitar practitioners, because it's still an important thing to do, right? Just being you. Super important. All right. Well, anyway, Lex, nice to see you. Sorry to miss you, Kevin. Thanks again. And go crush that concert, Rewaz. Go crush it, man. And I hope to see you again in the future. I'll be here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. And until we meet again, I do wish